Isolation through occupation. We apply ourselves to isolating you from your support networks in order to prevent them from interfering in our control of you. This is done to ensure the success of seduction, devaluation, and hoovering. Whilst we may deploy an insidious campaign, the well-known salami slicing methodology which causes you to lose those connections without actually noticing it is happening, we also apply ourselves to isolating you through occupation. Where this is undertaken by a lesser or mid-range narcissist, this is done unconsciously. Where this is undertaken by a greater narcissist or the ultra, and this is done consciously and knowingly. Either way, we have to dominate your time. We have to monopolize it. This is because you have been chosen as the primary source of fuel. Whether you are the non-intimate partner primary source or the intimate partner, it is you that is monopolized and controlled to the greatest extent with regard to the nomination of your time. Less so where you are a secondary source. When we are interacting with you, of course, when you're a secondary source, we want all of your attention on us, but we don't dominate your time to the same extent. You interact with other people more often. It is our entitlement and your obligation to submit to our control and provide us with fuel, to provide us with those character traits and residual benefits, and to do so to an excellent standard and frequently. We need to ensure that we retain knowledge of everything that you are doing so that we can continue to control you and head off any threats that we identify. It also allows us to isolate you by spending as much time as we can with you. So how does this manifest? Number 1. We organise your social life for you. We plan the days out, evenings out and weekends away without recourse to you. We make the holiday plans. We invite people to our house and ensure that our invitations are organised with those who are under our spell, those who form the facade and are members of our coterie. You will find your available time at weekends and holidays already filled. Of course, this will be done under the pretense of doing something pleasant for you, to surprise you and to reward you because you work so hard. Who, after all, is going to object to such thoughtfulness? 2. If you arrange for friends, your friends, to come to our house and you understandably tell us about this, we will not accept that you want to spend time with them alone. Why would you want to do this? We see no boundary here, and we will always assume that we are invited to attend as well. It doesn't matter that they are your friends, and we might be the only man amongst several women. That doesn't concern us at all. All we are focused on is keeping an eye on you, and seeing such an opportunity to draw fuel from the other guests. As time progresses, and this takes place during the devaluation, we see it as an excellent chance to cause a scene and sabotage your evening in some way. The muted enthusiasm for our attendance from your guests and the comments of, "I'm surprised to find you here still. I thought you were going out," whilst the challenge will be readily swatted away and will not prove of any concern to us. To you and your guests we appear to have the hide of a rhino and a complete short-sightedness, lack of awareness, being unable to pick up on the signals that we are not welcome at this gathering. Most narcissists, though not all, will recognise that we're not welcome, but we would dismiss that as irrelevant. Our sense of entitlement means that we go where we want and when we want. Besides, all of these reactions do provide us with fuel, and whilst there's a challenge contained within them, we will smooth that challenge away. We wish to remain a presence, so that your friends eventually tire of us being in the house at the same time and interacting, so therefore in the future they will decide against visiting. Remember, this has been specifically planned and determined by the greater narcissist or the ultra, and as a collateral consequence of the behaviour in the moment of the lesser or mid-range narcissist. Number 3. We may opt against direct interaction, but instead spend our time hovering nearby. We'll be listening in as we apparently pass through to get a drink or collect a buck from the room you're all in. Comments are made such as, "Don't mind me, pretend I'm not here." And this is said with a gleeful smile as we settle down nearby and start jabbing at our tablet or we open a buck. We make your guest uncomfortable with our presence, but because you recognise that it's our home too, you're polite to move us. You are too polite to move us. This invariably will result in the evening being cut short after a while because of our looming presence. Any accusations of us deliberately spoiling the evening will just amount to fuel and will be rejected, met with denial, deflection, blame shifting and provocation, in order to gain more fuel and assert our control over you. 4. If you make arrangements to visit family, we will always accompany you. It will be done under the auspices of appearing to care and being pleasant. You will hear comments such as, "It's a long way. If I come, we can share the driving. It'll cost you a packet for a taxi. I'll come with you. I don't mind driving. Paula will be there. Oh, good. I've not seen her in ages. It'd be great to catch up with her. She's such a lovely person. I'd rather come with you, with it being at night. I need to speak to your father about something, so I'll come along too. I like that poet as well. I think I'll join you. It'd be an interesting evening. I just want to be there to look after you. After all, it can get a little hairy around there after dark." We have no hesitation about inviting ourselves through our sense of entitlement and lack of boundary recognition so that we can continue to be with you, monopolizing your time. 5. If you do manage to get away from us and attend somewhere, you can expect us to appear shortly after the evening, afternoon, or event begins. As ever, the plausible explanations will be rolled out in order to suggest that there is nothing untoward going on, and also to make you appear unreasonable and unpleasant if you actually do try and object to our presence. You will hear things such as, "I was just passing and saw you in here, so I thought I'd pop in for a quick drink, and then we end up staying all evening. I thought I saw you with John and wanted to say hello. I needed to speak to you about something and it couldn't wait. I may as well order something now I'm here. Hey, I couldn't let you have all of this fun to yourself, could I? I've always wanted to try this place, and I was in the area anyway. I'm meeting somebody later on, so I thought I would show my face. The said person apparently cancels and we end up staying." Number 6. If you somehow prize us out of the house, we will find reason and excuses to come back and remain with you and your guests. The trains aren't running, so I can't get there. I forgot my wallet. Oh, hello, Sandra, not seen you in a while. How are you? Oh, go on then, I'll just have the one, thank you. Tom has fallen ill. He couldn't make it. More likely, we actually cancelled and just came home. I need to change my shoes. I forgot my keys. I need to speak to Mary about something. I thought was the only chance I'd get to do so. Lots of different excuses will be used in order to return and remain. Number 7. If for some reason we are not able to physically remain with you, then we will rely on technology to do so on our behalf with repeated telephone calls and text messages, interrupting your evening, and of course, you will know better than to not respond to them. We will, in such circumstances, invent an emergency which causes you to leave what you are doing so that you have to return to us. The repeated application of our occupation of your time through our presence will result in you having any time to yourself at all, or rarely. It'll feel like you have an umbilical cord between you and us, all of the time because we're always with you. Your friends and family will soon tire of our presence, especially when we start to escalate matters so that we cause a scene, prove difficult, create an atmosphere, and so forth, and therefore the invitations will dwindle. Certain narcissists will play the victim card to stop you going out without the narcissist and engage in the battle of going out, so you ultimately decide it's just far easier to stay in rather than try and do something without the narcissist. All manner of emotional manipulations will be deployed in order to keep you next to the narcissist, from making you feel happy and wanted through to making you feel guilty for failing to take us into account, including us, and spending time with us. We regard the occupation of your time as our entitlement. We fail to respect the boundary, and we will keep on doing it as we get our own way. You will eventually become isolated through declining these invitations, and therefore fail to keep certain connections open, as it becomes too much like hard work. Those that you do keep open are never without us, so we know what you're doing, what is being said, so that we can gather this intelligence and use it to our advantage in our continuing control over you. By being with you as much as possible, we squeeze other people out of the position, isolating you, making control easier of you by being with you so often, and removing any threats to control posed by the distractions as other people. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.